The family of the Paris terror attack, in the meantime, suing social media giants Facebook, Twitter, and Google, alleging that these companies are providing material support to the Islamic State and other extremist groups. We have received statements from all companies. They condemn the attacks and state there are policies in place to deal with this. Former prosecutor Alex Kincaid says social media is not liable for the acts. Trial attorney Marie Napoli disagrees. Marie, why would they be? Why would they be liable? Would that be the same as a drunk driver? Who would be liable? With the automobile manufacturer or the First Amendment? There are a lot of different arguments as to why maybe social media should not be liable.
Well, I think absolutely social media should be liable. They have to have someone watching over what the content is that they're putting on their websites. And you see what's happening. People are telling others to kill. We have these mass murders. I mean, there has to be some kind of consensus. And I'm not saying all speech is to be watched over, but speech that can cause harm to others, inciting them to kill and riot,
right,
that they should be responsible. They're making money by having these websites up there. And unfortunately, the laws as it is now in the United States protect these websites from any liability.
Right.
And until those laws are changed, this will not change.
Alex, we know, and everyone loves the First Amendment. It's broad and it allows free speech. But there are instances where there is you can't yell fire in a crowded theater. You can't deliberately promote speech that results directly in someone's being harmed physically. Isn't that line crossed from time to time? And to a certain degree, doesn't social media have some liability for aiding, perhaps even emboldening these groups?
Absolutely not. Social media is no more liable for terrorism than the gun manufacturer is for homicide. This is the age-old argument, and while I and other people certainly sympathize with the victims in this case and with their families, this is misplaced grief is what it is. It's misguided, and it's putting blame where it absolutely doesn't belong. Social media cannot be expected to do the job that our own government can't do, and the job that our government is charged with doing, which is protecting us from terrorism. Why would we put that blame, and why would we put the liability on social media? That doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Marie?
Well, every person has to perform due care to others to ensure that they're not hurt.
But what's that standard of care supposed to be? That doesn't make any sense.
Standard of care is due care.
Is it 5 hours that we have to take it down?
If you see someone on the website.
So let Marie,
what is that?
So what is that? Can you reply to that? What would the solution be? What is that care? What's the litmus test for that?
Due care is to make sure that on their websites they're not having things posted that would incite the murder of other human beings. I mean, I think that's the minimum due care. I don't think that kind of language deserves any kind of protection under our Constitution.
Why is that unreasonable, and why shouldn't Twitter, by the way, which has probably more access to this information than our government, and it has not been necessarily helpful with our government, why shouldn't they have to report this stuff or do something, take action when this happens?
Because they cannot be charged with that duty. They are not charged with investigating terrorists. The government
not investigating.
People who do that. I'm going to point out something else. When I prosecuted, I can't tell you how many people I was able to convict because of the stuff they posted. These media sites, why would we want to take it down? What people post on there is actually very helpful to law enforcement. I can use it in cross-examination. Law enforcement use this, and we're seeing them use that.
We're not saying take down the site.
Well, you're saying take down the posts, and the
we're taking down the dangerous posts that can cause harm.
1 second, ladies. I don't think that we're saying that take down the site or the post. In fact, I think you kind of helped make the argument here, Alex, in the sense that you prosecuted cases. We're talking about preventing these from becoming cases in the first place. If that same information leads to someone being indicted or going to prison, why shouldn't that same information be used to stop the act in the first place?
it should be used to stop the act. And all of these companies have said in their defense, when we see this stuff, we do take it down and we do call law enforcement, and they are reporting it, and it is being used. What this lawsuit is about is they're saying these companies should be liable to the victims' families. That's a completely different situation and purpose.
Until you make these companies liable for their conduct and how it affects other people, there will be no change. They're making money from these websites, and until they feel the pinch,
ladies,
they start really patrolling their sites.
We know it's extraordinarily complicated, and it's very passionate on both sides. And maybe ultimately this gets to a point where the Supreme Court weighs in, but a lot of Americans would like to see social media companies step up to prevent or help prevent the slaughter that we saw over the weekend.
Well,
Thank you both very much.
Right now it's the Wild West, and
All right,
something
guys.
has to be done.